Welcome to Pour the Wine. It's Rom-Com time, where we'll sip some wine and review all things rom-com on the Hallmark Channel. I'm Amy.
And I'm Gary.
And today we are thrilled to welcome Christopher Giroux. Christopher is a director, writer, executive producer, and the co-founder of Precious Metal Productions, which just released their first film, Be My Love, in April. Over the course of his career, he's produced more than 50 films, including Hallmark favorites like Christmas Island, The Christmas Charade, Operation Nutcracker, and Take Me Back for Christmas. He is also involved in 2 upcoming Christmas in July movies premiering on the Hallmark Channel as executive producer for Oh Little Christmas Market and as director of Snowbound for the holidays. So, Christopher, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for
Yeah.
having me.
Oh man, you're
All
welcome.
right.
Thank you.
Let's start at the beginning. Where did your passion for the entertainment industry come from, and what are some of the pivotal moments early in your career that helped shape the path that you've taken?
Sure. Yeah, no, I've always been into film as far back as I remember. There wasn't, as some kids joke about, wanting to be an astronaut or a firefighter. It was always filmmaker. I don't think I knew exactly what it meant at the time, I'm sure, but I always just wanted to make movies. It was always definitely something that I was very passionate about, and rewatching old VHS tapes to the point that they don't work anymore, and
Yeah.
worn out those tapes and things, but yeah, it was always there. It was something that I was always very passionate. I loved, watching movies and, collecting, and I still have many DVDs and things behind me.
Oh, I
I
see.
love
Yeah.
the action figures and the toys and the tie-ins and the lunch boxes and all that stuff, and still actively collect all those things to this day.
Oh, that's great.
And But really got into it at a very early age.
What was one of the first films that really triggered it for you that you
Yeah,
remember
I think
seeing in the theater?
I think probably Star Wars would probably
Yeah.
be up
Oh,
there.
Yeah. Oh, you're
okay.
So iconic. I'm sure there's
Yes.
other films that have maybe shaped me more, but that was just such a, your kind of eyes kind of open up, and it was so new and so exciting,
Right.
and so that was probably a big
Yeah.
factor for sure. Yeah,
Such an experience in the
for
theater
sure.
too with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember where I was when I saw Star Wars back in 78.
Yeah, a long time ago.
It was a long line around the building.
Yeah. But that whole, like, I saw them all. I've seen all the Star Wars movies in theaters, and still go and see them on, different formats, whether they play on
Right.
35
Yeah.
millimeter. And the fun part is that there's still a line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Star Wars on 35 millimeter like 3 years ago at a local cinema here, where I live, and there's a line. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's still exciting after all these
Yeah.
years. You know,
Yeah.
so it's really fun.
It is so crazy how still to this day people
Yep.
are watching it.
Yeah.
So looking back, how has your creative process evolved over the years?
Yeah, wow, that's a amazing question. It's always, my wife and I talk about this so much, that I think the entertainment industry is it's tricky, to have the consistency, to have that normalization of getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, or going to the same office, Monday to Friday.
Hmm.
But I think kind of normalizing how sporadic the industry can be. And,
Right.
some years you're doing 8 films, and some films you're doing 1 film, and it's all part of this journey. I think the biggest thing that has changed for me over that is being more comfortable in that space, and more relaxed, and have it more normalized, as sometimes it's busy and sometimes it's not. And I think that freedom in the art is kind of part of the growth of the artist, is to almost be to get more and more comfortable. And I hope that that's what I've done more and more throughout the projects, is be more comfortable, more present,
Right.
while the films are being shot, or offer up more ideas that were maybe earlier in my career, maybe I was too shy, or too nervous, or didn't have the confidence to
Right.
speak up,
Mhm.
and to say some of these things. And as you get more comfortable with, making more films, you get to kind of find your voice throughout. So
Oh,
So,
that's
so
really
you
cool.
still get those butterflies when you're doing this?
Oh my goodness. Every day one is in the week going before it's crazy how much because it's a brand new something. It's there's elements, there's ideas that you've pulled from other films or other production, or maybe there's consistency with, hey, the cinematographer is the same or the art director is the same, but generally it's a brand new thing. There's brand new people working together, and you're just starting from it's day one of kindergarten all over again. You're
Gosh.
meeting new people and they're coming in,
Yeah.
and you're going to spend this time with this amount of people as you all grow and create together and stuff like that, and kind of find your way through it. So I absolutely still get nervous, and it's not the day before, it's about 2 weeks before.
Oh my God.
Right. When you
Definitely
start
checking in. Absolutely.
planning and thinking. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Precious Metal Productions.
Mhm.
What inspired you to launch your own company, production
Yeah.
company, and what made you feel it was the right time to finally do so?
Yeah, my wife and I launched a company earlier this year in January. We previously shot a film just before that called Be My Love. We shot that in October and kind of used that as kind of our debut. We met doing a TV movie called Learning to Love Again. She
Oh.
was the number one. I was one of the producers on the project, and we met during this film and got to collaborate on this film together. And just it was sort of like a fairy tale in a sense. It was just after we wrapped a couple weeks later, we were dating, and we've been together ever since. And so that passion for storytelling and the love for the genre, we're very passionate about rom-coms and TV movies, and we really see them in a such a unique way. And so that kind of idea of us collaborating, though we have collaborated in other ways. I've produced projects that she's acted in, and when your partner's an actress, I'm also a reader, and I'm also a
Oh,
cameraman, and
You
all those
do
other things. So we get
all
to
the things.
collaborate in lots of different ways. But it was something that we've always kind of talked about, is wanting to kind of do something together. And we just felt it was the right time, to jump in, and we're so
Yeah.
glad we did, because we were able to write Be My Love together, and produce it with some dear friends, and work with a bunch of cast that we have all had collaborations with throughout the years, and kind of put this together, and learn so much about bees in the process,
Yeah.
and really dive in because they're so fascinating and interesting, and really kind of rally behind that for our first film. So it felt very organic, though it was crazy at times, but it was a tremendous amount of love, and from the whole cast and crew that kind of made that dream possible.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And, we just watched that relatively recently, a few days ago. It is so
it's really
good,
good.
Thank
Christopher.
you. Thank you.
Oh, and she's adorable. Oh my gosh. I have to tell you, we really loved it. It was just, fun and engaging and modern. And we kept saying the music is modern. And we
Yes.
love that. We're big on like the music in films. And it's
Yeah.
just I encourage everybody to find it and watch it.
Yeah.
It's so good. We stream only, so we were able to find it on Pureflix, I
Pure
think.
flicks. Yeah. Yeah.
PureFlix streaming service. So that's where we were able to find it. I'm not sure where. I'm sure it's available elsewhere, but it's so good. We
Thank
really thoroughly enjoyed it.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, the shots, the lighting especially was really, really good.
You like you
I'm bit
directed it, correct?
I did. Yeah, I directed it. Yeah. So I wrote it, co-wrote it with Anne.
Co-wrote
I
it.
directed it. I was one of the producers and stuff as well. And we had an amazing cinematographer, and other
Man.
production partners that really brought that world to life. And the honey house in the film is usually a wedding venue. Like, we had that all
Okay.
built
Oh,
because we really loved that, like, wood aesthetic,
Right.
yes.
that texture, when the light kind of hits the wood, and it has this kind of rustic Yellowstone type of feel, to it, and things like that. So we got to kind of build that space, which was so much fun.
Right. It's so funny because I remember as a kid we had peach trees in our backyard,
Mhm.
and I would always have be the one that have to go out there and rake them up. And as you know, when they fall on the ground, bees love that.
Of course.
Oh my God. And I never used to be afraid. I'd just go out there and rake and they wouldn't bother you. Now I'm afraid of bees.
No, and
Funny because we didn't. I know this is going to sound crazy, and but we got through it. We used no protective gear while we were
That,
shooting with the
that is
bees,
so amazing.
and we shot with 50,000 real bees for the film. We had a bee wrangler, of course, but we couldn't
right.
very well. We wanted to show how safe bees can be,
Right.
and so we didn't want to show it with too much safety gear, other than when Anne is kind of, in her kind of astronaut suit,
Yeah.
That was funny.
crew
Yeah.
had no gear on, and so because we wanted to really show how docile bees can be, when properly smoked and handled. But we found that bees remember human faces,
Wow.
and so
Yeah.
we sat with the bees in prep before going and filming with them, and nobody got stung while we were.
That is so amazing.
That
So it was
is
very unique.
amazing.
We weren't allowed to, like, do like big gestures, and we weren't allowed to, like, raise our voice. So it was this
Right.
really, like, very relaxed couple days of filming with them, because everyone was just, you had to be kind of like chill and nice and stuff like that. So it was a really fun experience.
So,
Well,
so did
I
they land on you or
They
anything
did all the time.
all the
Yeah.
time?
oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh my
I
goodness.
mean, that's so great. And we were sitting there and we were watching, and there were a couple times where I was like, "Did you know that about bees?" And he was like, "No." And he would say,
Nope.
"Did you know that about?" And I mean, and what's great about it is you learn about them, but it's not preachy. It's not like obvious that they're,
Yeah.
like you're trying to teach someone. It just flowed so beautifully throughout the
Well, thank you.
film.
That's very
So
nice for both of you to say.
yeah.
Yeah. It was so funny.
Yeah, yeah. We were the smoke thing too. I didn't know that either, that calmed them down.
Yeah.
I think you
There's a
said
there's a great documentary on Disney Plus. It's like The Secret of Bees. It's produced by James Cameron. They built
Oh
these
wow.
tiny little cameras, and they put them right in the hive, so
Oh
you
my
can
oh
see
goodness.
their
my
whole life
gosh.
cycle. It's such an emotional film. You get really attached to these, like, four main character bees that you follow through the documentary. I don't know how they're tracking them, but it's incredible.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
so cool.
really, really moving, and so I highly recommend it because it's just so fantastic.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to check that out. You've
Yeah,
piqued our interest now.
I know because we
Bees.
have a couple. I mean, we live in a farm area, and they have beehives, or
Mhm.
Yeah.
and we were sitting out on the porch one day, and all of a sudden they got like this big, huge shadow, and this swarm of bees came down, and then just went right back up. It freaked me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little
I was
bit,
like,
but
in
we
the
were
house, because
calm. Yeah, yeah, we were
but
calm.
yeah, but then they just disappeared. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got a bunch of them around here, so every once in a while
They're
we'll see
fascinating
them.
little creatures for
Little
sure.
creatures, and
Yeah,
very important
Yeah.
to
very
be
important.
informed. Yeah. All right, so
So
let's get into Oh Little Christmas Market.
Yeah.
yeah.
It will premiere on the Hallmark Channel on Saturday, July 11th, and stars Catherine Burrell and Stephen Huszar.
Mhm.
Give us a brief overview of what it's about and what made you want to come on board as executive producer.
Yeah, I was previously at a company called Vortex, where I was a kind of an in-house producer. I was the head of production, and so I got the opportunity to do so many projects, while I was there. A lot, which you beautifully said in my intro, like Christmas Island and Take Me Back for Christmas. They were all done under the same production company when I was there, and Oh Little Christmas Market was one of those ones that we shot there.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a fantastic movie. It's really heartwarming. It has a beautiful, designed Christmas market. And
Oh,
it's kind of these two kind of strangers who kind of meet at a train station, and kind of their paths are destined to kind of cross again. And they're both kind of representing two sides of what this Christmas market means to the community. And so they
interesting.
have to kind of, work together or agree to disagree on what the outcome should be. And Kat Burrell and Stephen Huszar are both just incredible performers, and so
Yeah,
they
they're both
bring
so great.
they bring such, amazing depth to the character, and it's a huge ensemble cast of fun characters. So it really brings the whole town together when you get to kind of see how the story unfolds.
And I mean, an iconic Christmas market. You can't go wrong with
You
that.
can't go wrong.
I mean, it's the trope that I mean, but it works, you know.
Of course,
Everybody loves a Christmas market. Come
her
on.
name is Sarah Lang, and she's incredible, and she really built this very
Oh,
elaborate market, and it just photographs so well on camera. So yeah.
oh, that's so cool.
So how did you make sure A Little Christmas Market delivered all the, the familiar holiday movie magic that audience know and love?
Yeah. I think as I was saying earlier, I'm so tremendously passionate about this genre.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And being a Star Wars fan and being like a Marvel fan and just, really being a fan,
Right.
what I think is incredible is that the fandom really is an active community, just
Hmm.
like in Star Wars.
Right.
And I think that what's amazing about the TV movie genre is that the fans are so passionate about what they like and what they want to see.
Right.
And I think that when you become a fan, there's such authenticity into kind of leaning into that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Hmm.
think there's things that are supposed to happen in these movies, and they're supposed to happen in a way that feels familiar yet elevated and new. I think that these films, to me, and how my wife and I approach them, are pseudo fantasies where we wish we lived in this world. We wish that we had a mayor that knew our name and said hello, and we wish we went to a Christmas market that the whole town came and you
Right.
hey, look, it's the guy that runs the shoe store. I think
Right.
it creates a world where, it's a marketing intern, but she lives in like a $1.2 million brownstone in New York. And why? Because it's just like Friends, the TV
Right.
show. It's
Hmm.
it's this world that has this amazing texture and feeling where everything is pretty great. And when we're making these movies, when I'm directing these movies, when I'm producing these movies, that is such at the forefront to deliver. I think
Right.
I want to create a space, on both on the set so actors and the crew can perform as well, but for the audience to kind of feel that they're being honored as fans in the film. I think that there's a few movies that I've seen that kind of stray too far in too many directions or
Right.
try to do too many things. You know what I mean? I think that films can be elevated and have a very different plot, but still kind of honor the twinkle lights, the
Right.
emotional feel, that weight of that all is lost moment, and really kind of feeling that the stakes are real.
Right.
Think of movies in sort of two different ways. I think of them as destination movies and journey movies. I think
Hmm.
that for like a traditional, we'll say Star Wars, that's a destination movie. We want to get
Mhm.
to the end and we want to see that the world has been saved. I think
Right.
with TV Christmas movies and with TV romance movies, they're kind of journey movies as much
Hmm.
as we sort of know the destination.
Right.
They're probably going to get together and share a beautiful kiss, probably in front of a very lovely Christmas tree. So we want to know how they get there and
Right.
that
Right.
journey
It's
and
the
that
journey.
fun and that excitement and that will they, won't they, that has to all feel real building towards that end. And so I approach these movies with such care. I feel like an honorary guardian of the genre where I just want to deliver exactly what the fans want, because I think that I'm a big fan too, and my wife and I watch these movies and we dive in and we say, wow, that one, I wish that I came up with that, or look how good that Christmas tree is. You know what I mean? And I'm always taking something away from another film that premieres on Hallmark or Lifetime or things like that. So
Yeah.
I really approach it with just wanting to create a world very much like me in Star Wars. I want the lineup down the block, but instead it's the lineup to get snacks before the movie starts, in your kitchen or living room. So I really approach it that way.
That's it's so interesting to hear you say that because so many of your movies the authenticity totally comes through.
Thanks.
Right.
That you're a fan, and I mean, just as a side note, Take Me Back for Christmas. I mean,
Oh
I
my
can't
gosh.
watch that without
Oh my
tearing
gosh.
up, as someone, we've both lost our moms, and just it's such a beautiful film,
Mhm.
Yeah, that
and
that
you
whole
just
scene
feel,
with her
yeah,
talking to her mom for the last time before she goes back. Oh my gosh.
I
yes,
will say that even while we were filming, it was it was a quiet set, and me as a person who has read the script and was there when the scene was shot, I watched it when it aired and it still got me, and I'm
yes,
like, I know it's coming. I know it's
yeah,
coming.
how the
But it's I think that it was handled, with such, which, we wanted to present it with such grace,
yes,
and really give
yes.
an authentic conversation, but obviously still have some warm feeling, that it's building towards at the end of that film. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so glad you both enjoyed it.
Well,
Well, yeah, and you're
that's
go ahead.
probably one of my favorite
Yeah,
scenes so far in a Hallmark movie. Is
yeah.
it that when their tears started coming down, I mean, oh my,
I know.
give that girl an award
Yeah,
because
Amazing. She's
she
amazing.
Vanessa. Yeah.
she delivered.
Okay, sorry to sidetrack a little bit,
No, no.
but we had to throw that in there. But yeah, but your movies are definitely genuine. I mean,
Thank you.
we as viewers can feel that in the movies that
Thank
you're involved with for sure. What particular scene, location, or moment in O Little Christmas Market during production really captured the spirit of the movie for you?
Yeah, like it's hard to not say the Christmas market because
Right, right. Well, that's,
at
that's
the
fair.
beginning of the movie, there's kind of this train station scene, and
So
we
that's
got
what we're
to
talking
shoot.
about.
It's now a ballroom. It's like an event space now, but
Oh.
it
Oh wow.
used to be this like 1900s train station, and so we
Wow.
kind of flipped it back to period.
Oh, that's
Oh,
And
cool.
it's
that's
got
cool.
very high
That's cool.
ceilings and like a little old school ticket booth and things like that. And so
Oh.
some of the old aesthetic was there. We kind of built around it. There's like a 30-foot Christmas tree, and that's kind of how the movie kicks off. So, not to say the Christmas market obviously is a clear front
A
runner.
standalone, a
But the
standalone.
train station's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
So
and is that where the meet cute
that's
happens?
where they kind of,
They kind
see
of
each
okay,
other
or
for the
maybe they've
first
known
time.
each. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let's move on to Snowbound for the Holidays, which
Yeah.
you directed. So let's talk about it premieres on the Hallmark Channel on Saturday, July
Mhm.
18th, and stars Vanessa Lenges and Marcus Rosner.
Mhm.
Tell us the premise behind Snowbound for the Holidays and what made you want to direct it.
Yeah. Well, the film follows Marcus's character who runs a family resort, a ski resort that's really going through some kind of troubled times.
Hmm.
Vanessa plays a person who kind of runs different hotels and things, and her mom and the original kind of owner of the ski lodge have some history together. And Vanessa kind of comes to assess the property to kind of see what value, because ultimately the ski lodge will most likely have to be sold. So Vanessa kind of comes in to kind of help get an understanding, as they kind of start off on kind of different thoughts about how the ski lodge should be handled. I think they start to see eye to eye and kind of understand that there's something really special here that they want to unpack together. So really cute, kind of more a very fun kind of pacing movie for sure.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. I am too. What was your vision for the overall look and feel of the film,
Yeah,
and how did you bring it to life?
yeah, for sure. I got the amazing, fortunate time to shoot the movie during winter.
Oh, nice.
And so a lot of these movies are filmed in the summer, and but shooting winter for winter opens up the world because
Right.
Yeah.
sometimes you can only dress like a section of the street, and not everything has Christmas lights when you're filming
Totally.
in August.
Right.
And so when we shot it in Northern Ontario, in Northern Canada, where very snowy already, but we also shot it in February. And so we had real snow, real snowflakes. We got to do the tubing and the skiing all
Oh
for
gosh.
real and all practically done on actual ski lifts. And there's no green screen, and everything was done very practically. And I love texture in a movie,
Yeah.
very, very much like we were talking about Be My Love. So we shot it on a real ski hill. We went to a real winter resort. We
Wow.
shot all those things very practically. There's a scene where they light off these kind of wish lanterns, We did all that practically. We lit the lanterns for real, and we
Oh,
all let them
wow.
go into the sky, and we kind of all did that. I find that, these movies have such great texture when you lean into them, and so we really wanted to do everything for real, and do kind of in-camera tricks and things like that, but really kind of accomplish all those things practically versus using, green screen or
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
volume walls or things like that. All the snow in
Yeah.
our movie is real,
Oh,
and
that's so
you
cool.
can kind of see them, where they walk on the snow, and it really kind of crunches.
Crunchy. Yeah.
Instead of like a blanket,
Tobogganing,
right?
they're really tobogganing, and
Right.
when they go on the ski lift, we're filming on the actual ski lift while it's in motion, and
Wow.
so really wanted to bring a lot of fun to it. I
Hmm.
really wanted it to be, kind of a fun wintry movie, and so trying to achieve those elements. We shot in February, so we shot in a small town called Mattawa, Ontario, and
Okay.
we very politely asked the town to leave their Christmas decorations up and for us. And
Oh.
so the town
Oh,
left the decorations up,
Oh
and
my
so when we're
gosh, that's so
shooting
great.
the cafes and the walk and talks and things like that, that is how the town is actually dressed for Christmas. So
wow.
we
That is
really,
so
again,
cool.
leaning into that kind of, authenticity of the space and things like that, and being respectful from where
See,
we are.
that's a community right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
so we
so
all lived
cool.
up there when we shot the movie. We all
Wow.
did. Some of us at the lodge, and
Oh.
others in, small cabins or things. And so I think there was probably around 60 of us who kind of lived in and
Wow.
around that, and stayed there for, a month or 5 weeks and stuff like that. And it was like summer camp, but in winter, and we all kind of got to shoot the movie together and stuff. So it was lots of fun.
That
That
is
is
so
so cool,
cool. I mean,
man.
as a director, is that's sort of a dream to be able to shoot in the elements, even though it adds
Yeah,
different
it did definitely. It was the
challenges,
coolest
you know?
shoot I've ever been on, ever.
Oh, how
You know,
cool. That is so cool.
but everyone was really, positive and really into it, and we felt it was a very immersive experience because
Wow.
on weekends you'd go to town. There's two restaurants, so
Hmm.
probably gonna, depending on which restaurant you go to, you're gonna bump into 50% of the crew.
Of the crew, yeah.
Because there's only two.
Very
There's
cool.
only
Yeah.
two restaurants, and so a lot of the crew and things, when they went skiing on the weekends and things like that. So it was
Oh,
a really
wow.
like tight knit group while we were filming.
Oh,
So
fun.
That
yeah.
is
Gosh,
so
that's great.
cool. So, what did Vanessa and Marcus each bring to their roles, and how did they help shape the story?
Yeah, I'm such a big fan of both of their bodies of work to begin with.
Right.
I got a chance
Yep.
Mhm.
to work with Marcus on flipping for Christmas, and
Mhm.
I've worked with
So cool.
Vanessa a handful of times. I think this would be my fourth. So I knew the what they could bring, and they're just so talented, both of them. And so what it's really great is Vanessa plays great fish out of water
Hmm.
energy, and so it's
Yes.
like grounded chaos sometimes.
Yes.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes.
And where I feel like her inner child really comes out and plays, and she really has some fun facial expressions, and Marcus, kind of, and the character calls for it, but is a little bit more serious of a character. And so
Right.
when you kind of have those two types of people together, based on the role and stuff like that, it really sparks fly, because they start off as a bit of an odd couple where they're kind of prioritizing different things, and so
Hmm.
they really kind of build this very organic kind of fun chemistry. And I think because a lot of the things that they're doing throughout the film are very very physical, they get to have
Mhm.
like a lot of fun when they're tobogganing together, and building this Christmas tree and things together. And so they bring a lot of warmth, and a good touch of comedic timing, but in their own way. One's
Right.
a little bit more upbeat, and one's a little bit more dry humor, but the humor's there for both, for
Oh,
sure.
we're here for both. Yeah. We
Yes.
love some dry humor
That's
too.
it.
Yes, we
That's
do.
the energy that's so great
Yeah.
about them, that
Yeah.
they really play off each other.
That's
And
awesome.
so it was really fun to kind of witness that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you saying that about Vanessa, I can't remember if we talked about this in our preview podcast about this movie because we had just watched Take Me Back for
Mhm.
Christmas again recently. Just her exuberance and her
Mhm.
facial expressions, and
Yeah,
we mentioned that, like what you were just saying. She's so great. Like she gets
yeah.
so excited, and so
It's fun because she almost, like, catches herself, like,
Yes.
does she?
gets caught up, and then she's like, "But I'm cool. It's
But
fine."
yeah.
And she kinda brings it back down, so it's a lot of fun, you know?
Wow.
Oh gosh. All right. So looking back at Oh Little Christmas Market, what are you most proud of, and what do you think will resonate most with audiences when
Yeah,
they
I
watch
think
it?
it's really the movie's really about like a sense of community. I think that movie's really about, coming together and kind of working together as a team. I hope people take away that, I think again, as I've mentioned, these movies are a bit of a fantasy, and I think
Yeah.
that with this film, it really shows the texture of the community and how everyone kind of plays like a very important part. And I think that, much like filmmaking, if you just take out one little section, it doesn't really operate the same
Mhm.
way, you know?
Right.
I think it's really beautifully done how the story kind of unfolds, you know? So,
Cool.
yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I know it's those are the actual two that I'm looking forward to. So
Yep. For
I'm
this one.
glad.
Yeah.
I I've always since the '80s, and she and Amy catches me now as back in the '80s. I used to walk to the kitchen, and my mom would be watching a Hallmark movie,
Sure.
and I would just stop, and then like 15, 20 minutes would go by,
Yeah.
and I still do that to
He
this
does that
day.
now, and I'm like, "Come on, we gotta go, we gotta go."
And
I mean,
it just
we
I don't
love the
know.
rom-coms, but we gotta go.
You talked about the community, and it's interesting because it is an escape sometimes
Mhm.
For
just
sure.
to sit and watch an hour and some change
And I think
of a movie.
yeah, I think
And
these movies are so beautiful because I think that they can be amazing escapism. I'll
yeah,
say
Mhm.
that I'm not a big skier or snowboarder myself.
me either.
I fell off a ski lift when I was a
Oh.
teenager.
Wow.
Obviously, okay, but wasn't a great field trip for me.
Yeah.
And so to take on a skiing snowboarding movie was a big stretch. So that
Yeah.
those types of movies where people are going off and skiing, they're a big fantasy to me because you definitely won't see me doing it.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
think what you mentioned about kind of Take Me Back is I think that you can have real conversations
Mhm.
with this
Hmm.
genre too. I think it's not just, kind of fantasy, but it can kind of be a little bit of an escapism and
Yep.
also
Mhm.
be very personal. And
Right.
it can be both. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And that's why I think these movies mean so much, and why the audience is very similar to Marvel. We know
Right.
Spider-Man's gonna win at the end, but we still want
Right.
to see Spider-Man be Spider-Man. It's exciting and it's fun, and we get to go on this journey with him. And I think that this genre is no different than those. Where you get both realities. You get a touching story. You can also have a
Yeah.
bit of escapism as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is true. And we did our review not too long ago, and I said, I'm not a skier, so you'll see me in the lodge drinking some wine and waving and talking to people. That's me.
That'll be me too. I'll be there.
And me too. Me three. Me three. We'll have to catch up with you in the lodge.
All right. So when audiences finish Snowbound for the holidays, what do you hope stays with them along after the credits roll? And what are you most excited for them to experience?
Yeah, I'll start off with what I'm excited for them to experience is that the scene with the lanterns is a
Oh,
huge
yeah.
a huge fan favorite of mine. It took so much to put it in together in the movie, and there were so many tests to have it done, and it just turned out so beautiful. And it is such a powerful scene in the film, and the supporting characters really help bring that scene to life. And so I really hope that audiences enjoy that scene as much as we loved putting it together. And it required so many moving pieces, and
Hmm.
we're just so proud that we were able to pull that off. And
Yeah.
I think with this film particularly, more so than some of the, like, maybe like Oh Little Christmas Market. This film, I hope everyone has a lot of fun with it, because we have a lot of fun activities, and with the energy of the movie is very forward facing. I would say it's kind of similar in the sense of like Christmas Charade, where they're kind of going on this kind of journey together, and really kind of getting to interact with kind of winter activities, and kind of move it forward. So would love audiences just to have fun with that one. I think it's a really fun movie, and I think Marcus and Vanessa and the entire supporting cast, they really bring it home. And there's a little girl character, and her real name is Skywalker Hughes.
Oh,
She is
wow.
amazing. She is a scene stealer. She is now one of the leads of the reboot of Little House on the
Oh,
Prairie.
is she? I've seen her name recently.
And
Right, right.
which
Okay.
she shot after this. And me being a
Oh,
big Star Wars fan, Skywalker, definitely, that's her real name, and
That's
was
funny.
definitely an amazing addition to the cast, and she's so phenomenal. She's so.
So I'm assuming her parents are Star Wars fans too,
They
right?
are, but supposedly it didn't have a lot to do with the actual naming of it. But
oh.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. They are Star Wars fans, though. You know what I mean? And
That is so.
the casting director was joking when we were doing callbacks, and they were just like, "Chris, it's her real name. You gotta." I was like, "Oh, I'm in."
Right. They're not razzing you,
Yeah,
right?
it's not a
Like
joke,
put
but
one up.
she obviously got the part completely on merit and had nothing to do with her amazing name. But
Yes.
she's such a talent, and has this real fun kind of like pre-teenage sass that really adds a fun dynamic to the movie. So
Wow.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
awesome.
Now,
Thank you.
you've talked about how you really enjoy the genre, the
Mhm.
rom-com, the romance. What is your favorite rom-com outside of like the Hallmark Lifetime? Do you
Yeah,
have a favorite?
it's Love Actually, and it's
Oh
by a
gosh,
mile.
yes.
It's by
Yes.
it's by
So
like 3
good.
miles. I watch it every year. We go and
Yes.
see it in theaters. We've seen it for my birthday a few times, like in theaters. It's, oh my goodness. I could watch it every year. I know all the words, and yet
Yeah.
I still feel like I find new little
Yeah.
things when I watch it. But oh, without a doubt, like it's not even a question. I
Not
love
even
it so
not even
much.
close. I know, it's so great. That's on our must-watch list every year
Every
Yeah.
year.
as our, like,
Yeah.
holiday movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for
The
sure.
list
That
keeps
really
getting
has an
bigger and
overview.
bigger.
Pardon?
I said that our list gets bigger and bigger
I
every
know.
Oh,
year.
yeah.
You gotta kind of swap out. You say, okay, well, we'll watch it next
Next
year.
year, yeah.
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 Now, you kind of alluded to this a little earlier, but if you could step into one of the characters from one of your films and live
Mhm.
their life, who would you choose
Wow.
and why?
Wow.
Other than, I guess, maybe Aaron from Be My Love, because he ends up with Anne, but you know.
Of course, of course. I'd love to be the
That one
beekeeper in that
aside, that one
scenario. That
aside.
one aside. Andrew Walker's character in Christmas Island, I think for
Oh,
me, we
yes.
we shot that. I'm Canadian, and a lot of these movies that we shoot here are in Canada, and
Right.
but a lot of them don't take place in Canada. Obviously, they take place in the U.S. And so Christmas Island was the first Hallmark movie to take place like in Canada proper. That's a
Oh,
real
that's so cool.
lighthouse, and so
Yeah.
that was really meaningful for me as a producer to kind of make that. And
Yeah.
Andrew Walker is Canadian as well, and so it was really great. And we got to go to a lot of these very touristy areas for when we were shooting Christmas Island. Christmas Island is a real place in Canada, though we didn't shoot it
Oh,
on Christmas Island. That is a real place in Canada.
oh, that's so cool.
And
I
so
didn't
we
know.
kind of recreated Christmas Island by using other popular places in Nova Scotia. And
Wow.
so that lobster trap Christmas tree in the film is the real lobster trap Christmas tree
Oh
that
my gosh.
Lunenburg puts out
That's
every
so
year.
cool.
We borrowed it from the heritage site.
Oh, wow.
It does honor people who have passed at sea by hanging a buoy with their
Oh,
name on it. All that lore comes from that region of Canada, and so all that is authentic. And
that's
so
so
for
cool.
him to be this kind of air traffic controller in kind of this small fishing town that we spent the whole summer there filming in this fishing town, and so I think that I would step into his and live in that little fishing
Living
town.
that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a different take on it. I really enjoyed that one too.
Thanks.
Yes, yes. I think it's right.
So if you could shoot anywhere in the world, where
Mhm.
would you like to do a movie?
Wow. My wife's Romanian, and I got to visit Romania. I actually proposed in Romania,
Oh,
and
Wow.
I went back to the. She immigrated over here when she was 11, and so I got to take her back to that area where she spent her childhood, and
Oh.
it had these
oh.
amazing.
See, there's a movie right there.
There's a movie right
I
there.
know there is. Yeah.
It's so like, now it's starting to get a little bit more modernized with Starbucks here and there, but
Right.
it's so untouched. It's like a painting where
Wow.
the stone, the cobble street stone, and the everything's, from the 1800s. It hasn't really changed much. You
Wow.
know what I mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
there's these stone castles in the background, and
Oh,
all
that's
that stuff.
cool.
And so I think to do something, there's a lot of royal movies, and there's a lot of
Yes.
Yes.
castles in
Yes.
Armenia. So,
Yes.
so I think something in Romania, I think would be so meaningful, and
Oh,
the castle and architecture just really speaks to the genre about having kind of a princess type prince movie. So that could be fun for sure.
That would be
that
so
would
great.
be.
Yeah.
That would, and you would star in it along
Yeah,
with Anne.
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right. So, do you have any traditions, rituals, or even superstitions before filming begins?
Oh, it's a good question. Not that I would say, you know, per se, but I'm a very like person. I love to unwind, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially after a day, even though days are very long. I'm a big music fan.
Okay.
I still buy vinyl, and I
Oh,
consistently
wow.
have
Oh, wow.
headphones
That's
and
great.
various, not oddly not having headphones on tonight is very bizarre for me. But I use music as kind of a way to, to get excited, or to get kind of focused in, or to kind of find maybe that emotional moment on set. So I'm consistently kind of listening to kind of different tracks and things like
Okay.
that when i'm
Interesting.
when i'm when I'm directing, or when I'm producing, or even when I send a script to someone, I'll say, listen to these couple of songs before reading it to kind of set the
Oh,
Oh.
tone and
wow.
things like that. So I try to incorporate a lot of music, and really kind of do a big deep dive, even when we're producing. And I joke that I may add sometimes too much music, but I like it, and I like it being, having that kind of emotional weight, and so big music fan. And so I would say that would be part of the process for sure. Is And I always try to find, three comps of movies that feel like this movie, whether they're TV movies or not, just
Right.
something that feels authentic, and feels kind of has maybe some different tones or vibes and stuff like that, and kind of encourage the team to watch those films as well. So yeah, stuff like that for sure.
Oh, wow. That is so cool. So, what's your favorite band?
Wow. We have to do a whole other
Other
podcast.
episode.
Changes on mood and day, and things like that.
It
Yes.
I
just
would say
depends,
my
right?
my favorite artist is a kind of a Canadian poet named Leonard Cohen. I would say that he's my
Mm.
favorite. I'm a huge Neil Diamond fan.
Oh,
I really like, bands like Led Zeppelin and things like that. But I can just my wife and I are seeing Jack Johnson tomorrow.
oh,
Oh, cool.
And so we like just all sorts of music, so.
That's cool.
wow. That's so cool. All right. So, finally, if you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice at the very beginning of your career, what would it be?
Wow. These are some heavy hitting questions, man. Heavy hitting questions.
Well, I would tell you, he kept saying, "Oh, I want to ask this one." He kept giving me to add to the list, and I was like, "Okay, these are his. These are totally his."
I think to remind myself that it's such a journey. It's not a destination, in the
Right.
sense of, I think, as a filmmaker, as an artist, especially with the media and social media, is like everybody is expected to be like Dua Lipe and have like 10 million followers, and that's success. You know what I mean? I think being more and more comfortable with the artist that you are, and the artist that you
Right.
want to be. I really want to create an environment where everyone gets to be themselves, and we do. Everybody has ideas, whether you're the production assistant or the director, and create this safe space for people to create art, whether it's, Christmas movies, or any other type of art, really. And
Hmm.
so I would just tell myself that, it's a journey, and I think that, you know, as much journeys, there's tremendous highs and lows of being an artist, you know. But I think that that's part of the journey, and that's the journey you're on. So I think that, you know, I started doing live events, you know, before getting into movies, and then, you know, was a camera operator, and I did lighting, and I moved up to a production manager and then a
Wow.
producer, and so I've been in the you know, the technical world for such a long time. And so I would just, you know, tell myself to be easy on myself, you know, and just enjoy the journey, you know.
Well, that's so cool because you've learned it from the ground up,
Yeah.
and you understand each position. That's really cool.
That's
Thank
cool.
you. Thanks. It's been a fun ride.
Yeah, because I know nowadays kids are like, I want the top now, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, you know, I
Get
think and it just goes back to a saying that I always, you know, you don't know what you don't know. And I
Right.
think that,
Right.
you know,
Right.
people get so excited about what they do know, you know, and which is
Sure.
great, but they also aren't aware that they don't know this other thing yet. And
Right.
that's why they say, you know, to be a craftsman, you've got to do it for 10,000 hours, you know.
Right.
And so that doesn't happen over like a long weekend of making movies. It happens over, you know, a long period of time of contributing in different roles. You know what I
Yep.
mean? I will often, even though I'm producing, and even though I'm worried about budgets and overtime and, you know, deliverables, I'm still like on set, like tweaking a Christmas tree, like in the back, you know, because I love it.
'Cause
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm painting some sort of sign, you know what I
Right.
mean? I always find myself being like, "Oh, hey, this could use a wreath on this door," and stuff like that, you know? And so it's just a fun way to work, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah, they
That's
say
so
love
cool.
what you do and you'll never
Yeah,
work a day in your life, right?
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Man.
All right. So we like to end with some rapid fire questions if you're game, and they
I'm
are
game.
holiday themed.
All right, here we go. Eggnog, yes please, or ooh, no way.
Yes, eggnog, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, same. And we like it with a little bit of rum in it. But
There you go. There you go. Little
uh,
Baileys, little Baileys.
There you go.
real tree or artificial tree?
I would say real tree, but unfortunately, I have an artificial tree. So, you know, I have two trees though. One is more traditionally dressed, and the other one is all like superheroes and baseball and more of a fun tree. So,
That's
Oh,
cool.
cool.
That's
even
cool.
though they're not real trees, that is the preference. But yes, I have two
Are
fake.
they pre-lit?
They are pre-lit trees as well.
Yes.
So I lose points again. But I will
You don't lose
say,
points.
fun
No,
fact
no.
for
No.
Snowbound, when we're in the head offices, they're fake trees. And when we're at Linden Lodge, we got all real Christmas trees.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we're gonna have to look
So
for
Oh.
that.
you
Or
can see
yeah.
the difference between like plastic and real. I
Yeah.
transitions back to this little cottage. So fun little
That is fun little
tidbit
fact. There
there.
you go. Well, I
That is,
mean, we like real trees in theory,
Of
yes.
course. I always
but
had a
artificial
real one
trees.
growing up. So
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yeah.
did
that's
so
why I
did we.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in a family where he went on the side of the highway and cut it down.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
then when you woke up in the morning, there were bugs all over the place. So,
Oh boy. Well,
I remember when my parents moved out of our family home, there's still scratches on the roof where the
we're
tree
the
was too tall, and it
we're
would scrape.
it's like a Christmas vacation,
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure it came with the house. The scratches came with the
Uh, classic Christmas Carol or modern holiday pop songs?
classic Christmas carols for sure.
classic.
For
All
sure.
right.
White lights or colored lights?
I'm white lights. I'm white lights.
Oh.
We have again our more traditional tree is white lights and our fun tree is colored lights. So we do
Yeah.
both kind of
Yeah.
vibes, but white lights have this kind of this glow, you
They
know,
have a
unless they're
certain
the old
feel.
school bulbs that are like, you know, colored, but they're like the actual old bulbs, you know, from
The
Yeah.
C9s, I think
the
they are.
90s,
Big,
C9s,
huge.
you
yeah.
know, those were
Yeah.
really great. They had a great look, you know.
Uh,
All right.
open presents on
Yeah.
Christmas Eve or wait till Christmas morning?
Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
saying. Even though our kids really want to open them sometimes
Oh
Christmas
my
Eve, they
gosh.
beg us.
Half
Beg
the
us.
fun is the wait, though.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
it
got to go to
is.
bed, and
Yeah.
you know Santa's got to come. Ugly Christmas sweater, wear it or quietly judge it.
Wear it and One of my wife and I's first date was we went to like a themed Christmas party,
Hmm.
and I didn't have any fun Christmas party, but I really wanted to like impress her, and I'm meeting all of her friends. And so I took like a train to this like novelty store
Oh,
that
wow.
was so far away from the party, and I bought a full Christmas suit that has a tie,
Oh, that's so
pants,
great.
everything, and suspenders, everything. Race back was like late to like meet her, and she was like, "Is this, we got on like a couple dates," and I was like, "Look, I went like full out, and I'm expecting like everyone else is gonna go like full out, you know." I was like 10 times overdressed, like
Oh my gosh.
everyone wore like a
That's
red
amazing.
sweater, you know what I mean? And I was like head to toe. I
Head to
did
toe.
win the costume competition,
Obviously.
which was a large candy cane, but I love like if it's like, I dress up as Santa when we shoot in the winter. And I come as Kris Kringle to set, and
Oh.
I hand out candy canes and things. So I can't say no to a good dress up,
Oh,
Do
wow.
you still
That's so
have the
cool.
suit?
I still have the
You
suit.
still
I
have a
have
suit? Yeah.
multiple now. I have more than one suit, and I have multiple sweaters and ties and a lot of fun Christmas dress up for sure.
Very
Wow.
cool.
That is so cool. All right, last one. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars, no question there.
Awesome. That's so awesome.
He just want to throw that one in there, huh? Just see if he could trick you up a little
Yeah,
bit, but he
absolutely.
All
That's so
right.
cool.
Well, do you have any upcoming projects that you can tease or you can mention?
Yeah, nothing. I would say nothing that I can talk about yet, though. That
Okay.
my wife and I are really excited to do another project post Be My Love now that it's out, and we're super excited to be working on something together, and hopefully going to camera with that again soon.
Excellent.
But really excited for our little Christmas tree and for Snowbound for the holidays to come out, and it felt like they were shot. It felt like a while ago. Even though it's not that long ago, but it's really great for them to finally be coming out, and
Oh,
for audiences to be seeing them in such a short period of time.
yeah. We're
Yeah,
going to
that's
see them
so
very
cool.
soon, and we're very excited
Yeah, we're
Thank
to
very
see
you.
them.
excited.
And thank you both for having me on and getting me to kind of chat about both films. It's been a lot of
Oh,
Well,
yes.
that's cool. So,
It's our
where can our
pleasure.
listeners find you on social media
Yeah,
or websites?
I'm at Instagram at Christopher_Giroux. Also, Precious Metal has a Instagram as well, and we have a website and things like that about where we'll be posting kind of where we're going to be and events and things like that coming up and stuff. So yeah, those are the best ways.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
this was so much fun, Christopher. Thank you so much for
Yes,
joining us.
thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, cheers.
Cheers.